Hello everybody. In this video, we're going to be talking about what CircleCI is, why we need it, and some basic introductory information about CircleCI. So what is CircleCI? CircleCI is a continuous integration and continuous deployment tool. Configuring CircleCI for your repository helps automate a set of routine tasks that you'd like to trigger in various use cases for your repository. The configuration is YAML based, so it's pretty easy to write. Now, CircleCI also has a dashboard that helps you monitor the status of your workflows that were set in motion. And it also has a CLI that helps you run a basic set of commands, such as validating your CircleCI configuration, also checking the status of your workflow from the CLI, and various other tasks. So now let's actually get started on a simple demo on how to write a CircleCI configuration file for a workflow that is a simple job that just prints a custom message. I'm currently in a fairly empty GitHub repository. You can see that it only has a README file in it. I'm going to just open this up on my IDE. There we have it. Now let's take a few seconds to understand where we need to put the CircleCI configuration file in this repository. This is typically in a directory called .circleci and in a file within the directory called config.yaml. Now this is where we'll be adding our configuration as code. We typically start a configuration file with the version key. The version key is used to specify which CircleCI platform we're going to be using. So this enables the CircleCI backend to accordingly interpret our configuration file and issue warnings about non-supported keys and any breaking changes. Now our aim in this demo is to run a simple job that prints a custom message, as I mentioned before. Now we need to actually define this job ourselves. Where do we do this? We do this under the jobs map. And the name of our job that we define is going to be the key in this jobs map. Now, since this job name can be user defined, we can provide it any name that we want, and I'm going to use print job. Now, each job is further a map in itself where we specify relevant details about the job. Two such key pieces of information that we need to specify for each CircleCI job are: one, the environment in which the job will run. In CircleCI terminology, this is called an execution environment. Now, CircleCI supports different kinds of execution environments such as Docker, Linux VM, Mac OS, Windows, etc. Hopefully, we'll get into more details about the different execution environments in one of our upcoming videos. But with this demo, I'm going to use a Docker executor for my job. Now, CircleCI already has a key named Docker that is used for Docker executor for jobs. Now, when we specify the executor as Docker, we are going to also additionally need to provide the image that the container should use. CircleCI has several pre-built images in its Docker Hub that are typically just an extension of their official base images, but they do contain some optimization with regard to CI/CD specific utilities being built in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these pre-built images from CircleCI's Docker Hub. In this specific case, this is going to be an Ubuntu base version 2022.04. So that was it for the environment. That was the first key piece of information that we had to provide under our job. Now coming to the second piece of information that we need to specify under our job, what do we actually want our job to do? We specify this as a list of key value pairs under a map named steps. Now there are different step types, again more of which we'll hopefully be discussing in one of the upcoming videos. But for now, we're going to use the step type run. The step type run is used when we want to specify a bash command that should be run on the container, that is the CircleCI container for our job. In our case, since we're trying to print a custom message, this would be run echo hello world from CircleCI container. So that's going to be our job definition. Now we need to understand something very important here. Just defining the job is not going to trigger it in the CircleCI pipeline. For the job to actually get triggered, we are going to need to write a workflow that actually calls the job. Now, where do we put all of our workflows? Under the workflows map. And the keys in this map, just like in the case of the jobs map, are the names of the workflows. And like we did with our job, I'm going to give a name print workflow for this workflow. And then I'm going to specify the name of our job, that is print job, that we're going to want to trigger in this workflow. And that's going to be our configuration file that we'll be pushing to our remote GitHub repository. Now, before doing that, let's quickly check if our configuration file is valid. Let's open a terminal and run CircleCI config validate. And that's valid. Okay, cool. So now we can push the file to our remote repository. Let us quickly go to our remote GitHub repository. And there you go. This is the file that we just pushed. Let's quickly navigate to our CircleCI dashboard. Now, as you can see, I've already logged in, but you can also easily do so using your GitHub or Bitbucket accounts or your email ID. Now, in the project section, we can see our project for which we pushed our CircleCI configuration file. Now, for CircleCI to pick up our configuration, we are going to have to set up the project, and this only needs to be done the very first time that we run a workflow for the repository. We specify our default branch, which is main in our case, and set up the project. Now we can immediately see that the workflow that we just wanted, that we just configured, ran and successfully. Now you can see the print workflow and the print job that just ran. And you can also see that apart from the job that we defined, there are also two other jobs that ran under our print workflow. The first one is where CircleCI tries to set up the executor environment for our job, which in our case we had specified Docker. And you can see how CircleCI downloads the Ubuntu image that we specified in our configuration file here. And the second job is where CircleCI tries to set values for a set of environment variables. And these values are information about the current working directory, the build number, the project name, and various other details. And then we have our job that ran a simple echo command. And you can see that this was just a bash script. And that brings us to the end of this demo and the video itself. And this is going to be the very first video that's going to go up on this YouTube channel. I hope to be able to produce more such content in the future. Thank you.